Coach.
Okay, obviously we have a big game this week with Mississippi State. Last 3 times that I've personally coached against these guys that went down to the last play. Last season was no different. Went down to the very end as far as that goes. Their offense, they've got a dynamic offense. Their quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in all college football. He's like a running back running the football. His accuracy has been extremely impressive this year, especially on his play actions. Their offensive line's a physical group. They've got some experience. They're wide receivers. They're big and long, and they've made some one-on-one plays this year. Their defense, looking back to last year, one of the better defenses that we played, I felt like, all of last year. They got 9 starters back. They're a veteran group. They tackle well. They're very physical. So we got our work cut out for us in that area. Obviously, the atmosphere is going to be a very good atmosphere. We're really hoping that our experience this year going to Kansas State will help our group. Last year we were fortunate to play in a lot of big games. We have a lot of experience back, and dealing with the noise and everything that goes with playing on the road in a big game.
Questions?
Can you talk about the progression that both Dak and Nick have made compared to this time a year ago?
Well, I know for Nick personally, I mean, he was still learning the offense when we played him last year, and it was a little bit ugly on the offensive side. Now their defense had something to do with that, but Nick personally is light years ahead of where he's at. And then of course you look at their quarterback. I mean, he's very impressive when you break him down.
How much of last season's performance against Mississippi State was them, and how much of it was that you guys had not yet quite identified your strengths and started utilizing the zone read as much as you were?
Well, we were still trying to figure out who we were. We were still trying to figure out our quarterback's strengths, and they were very good on defense. They had a lot to do with it. We were fortunate to find a way to win, but looking back to last year, that was really a big game for us in our season. For the fact we hadn't won an SEC game in a really long time, and for us to win that game the way we did it, coming back at the very end, really gave us momentum. After that.
How's that defensive line of theirs stack up to others you faced in your first year and a half here?
Well, like I said earlier, last year I felt like it was one of the better defensive groups that we played the entire season, and they got 9 of those guys back, so that says a lot.
Guys, that last drive, how important was it just to build the confidence in the quarterback? I mean, just a couple games into the season, how big was that when you look at it in hindsight? Yeah,
that was huge. I mean, we didn't play very well. It was pretty ugly offensively up to that point. The game was on the line, and Nick, that's when we first saw that he's really special with the game on the line. And he's answered the bell every time that the game's been close, and he's got that special knack, and that was really the first time we saw it.
Gus, when you play a really big game like this, does it change preparation at all, or how do you kind of not get your players too ready?
Yeah, well, I think the best thing for us from a player standpoint and a coach's standpoint is we've been in some extremely big games that have been very important. It's not going to be a shock to our system. We're going to prepare that it's the next game, and obviously it's a big game. We know that, but at this point, in our season, in the West, I mean, they're all big, and so we're just going to go about it one game at a time, just like we've done the last year and a half. We're playing a very good team on the road, and like I said earlier, I mean, last 3 times that I've coached against these guys, it went down the last play, and so we're going to play well.
What specifically on defense did they do, or did they do last year that really kind of caused you to have trouble with what you want to do?
Well, they're very good in their front 7. I mean, they're big guys. They're explosive guys. They all can tackle. On the back end, they've got experience. They're just good at what they do.
Coach, what did you see in the A&M film of what they were able to do to Kenny Hill? Because he had thrown just 2 interceptions going into the game. He threw 3 against them. So what did they do? Maybe
Well, they mixed some things up. They disguised some of the coverages. They got pressure on him. They did a good job of disguising some things, and they got after him.
How big was it for the passing game to get Sammy
contract?
Well, it was really big for us, not only get Sammy on track, but early in the game, to hit a deep shot down the field, just kind of opened everything else up. And, you know, now that Sammy's getting healthier, you know, that's a really good thing for us moving forward.
You guys use Cameron Otis Payne a little bit more too. Is that just kind of trying to use his skill set? He got good.
Well, I mean, he's starting to establish himself as a guy that we can get the ball to a lot. And, you know, he was fresh in the second half, and we already knew even from last year that, you know, as the game gets going on, he actually gets stronger.
A lot of people talk about confidence on offense. How have you seen the confidence grow from your defensive guys this year?
From our defensive guys, yeah, our defense has played outstanding, and we played some pretty good offenses. And you know, it's second year in the system. You know, our front is a very physical front. They've done a great job against the run, and our back end has done a good job. Even though we got a lot of inexperienced guys, we've got 2 freshmen running around back there. I've been very pleased with the way that those guys have played.
Yes, it seems like, you know, for a long time, the kind of mantra was if you ran a hurry up offense, you couldn't play good defense. But Ole Miss does, they play good defense. Mississippi State does, they play good defense. You guys play good defense. Have you seen kind of evolve, the teams to do that or play better defense?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I've said before, that's where the game's going, spreading people out, playing fast. But if you can effectively run the football, you know, you're gonna go against your defense in the spring, and they've gotta stop the run. And so, you know, I think that's what's happening.
Because it seemed like there was, especially on early down, there was more focus on passing. Was that something just kind of opened up and take advantage of?
Well, you know, especially early in the game, we hadn't been getting off to good starts and all that, and we just tried to do some things to help our momentum, to get some first downs. And, you know, now that, you know, Sammy's getting healthier, I mean, that's a definite plus.
How much of it is also kind of putting some confidence in Nick to make the plays, both vertically and obviously?
Yeah, well, we're very confident in Nick to run our entire offense, throwing the ball, running the ball, zone read, and everything.
How do you
Brett
simulate?
progressed as an offensive coordinator from last year to this year. What do you see from him in his progress? Brett last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like I said, I thought he was one of the best in the business last year, and, you know, I felt that way for a long time. He's very good at what he does, and, you know, I feel the same way this year.
Is there more responsibility this year?
You know, in some areas there is, in some areas there is.
How do you simulate the cowbells in practice? Can you even really do that?
Well, you know, you pump in crowd noise and, you know, everything that goes with that. So you just do the best you can.
You got any cowbell recordings?
We may.
Preston Smith is one of the better defensive ends in the SEC this season. What's going to be the challenge for Sean in that particular?
Yeah, well, he's a big athletic guy, you know, I think he's intercepted a pass, he's knocked down balls, he's sacked quarterbacks, he's good against the run, he's a very active, big athlete.
How much better is Prescott throwing the ball as compared to last year?
Well, you know, in fairness to him, I believe this was the first game they actually played the entire game, and I thought he threw the ball decent last year. They hurt us on some big throws, you know, a big pass play. They hit 4 verticals. He made a very good throw, but this year it just seems like, you know, he's a lot more confident, and knows where everybody's at. He's in total control. You know, he's very impressive to watch him break down.
Because how similar, I know obviously size-wise, they're not similar, just the way he plays, the way Nick plays, how similar is that?
I think they're a little bit different. There is some similarities. Like I said, he's a big old guy. I mean, he's like a running back, and he's very impressive when he runs between the tackles. He's got running back instincts, and but both of them are dual threat guys, and I believe both of them are 2 of the better quarterbacks in the entire country.
Where does Jermaine Whitehead stand with the program?
Nothing's changed.
Will he be up there Saturday?
No, he won't be. Nothing's changed.
You talk about Danzy stepping up, playing last week.
Yeah, we're very proud of Danzy. You know, that was his first start right there. He graded out pretty well for his first start. He'd been coming around really good. We talked about playing him in some previous games even more than he did. So it was good to see him go out there and get some confidence, perform well against a quality opponent.
Does that give you a sense of security if Patrick Miller's not full speed?
It does.
In that line, we heard last night Patrick's back at practice.
Yeah, he was back at practice. He's day to day. You know, we'll see how the week goes with that.
Guess it's
You
not.
talked about how you guys have the experience of playing in big ball games, but not a lot of teams always embrace that, but your bunch seems to. Can you attribute it to anything?
Well, it's a tribute to our players because it's extremely hard to do from a player's standpoint to have guys rise to the occasion. We know we're going to get their best shot, and we know that it's a huge game for them. At the same time, it's a huge game for us. I mean, we have goals, and this is it's another big game. But the fact that we've been in some big games, it definitely helps. From a coach's standpoint, I know exactly what I want to get out of our players, and they're going to play extremely hard, and that gives you confidence as a coach.
Gus, how do you feel like the receiving core, kind of aside from the Sammy and Duke and Quan, how do you think that they've progressed to this point?
Well, I think they've progressed well. We're playing a few more guys this year than we have in the past because we're a little bit deeper, and everybody's starting to settle into specific roles, which always helps.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
Thank you all.
Thank you.